Alright, what is up, Transformer fans? It's the video review of the Transformers Generations 30th Anniversary Masterpiece Soundwave. This is the Hasbro version, that is the Toys R Us exclusive. And obviously here he is in his tape deck mode. And before I get into the review, I just want to say, I'm not going to review the box, but if you have not seen what the box looks like, Google it, because the box for these new Masterpiece guys are really cool. So I'm not going to get it in here because A, it's huge, and B, I don't want to waste time. But yeah, check that out if you haven't seen it already. Anyway, here we have Soundwave in his tape deck mode. And before we get into too much, I want to go ahead and cover the accessories that he comes with. Now, I'm going to start with the ones that are storable on him. You get his rifle, which is folded up right now to look like a battery, and in order to store that, there's this little bracket back here beside the other one. You just slip it in there, and it tabs in, and it holds in these grooves, and I'll show it later on when I pull it out of there. But it just tabs in right there. And then he has his scanner from the episode Fire on the Mountain, and that also tabs in on the bottom back here, right there on his butt. So those are the accessories that he can hide in the tape deck mode. He also comes with another weapon. He has the updated Megatron pistol. Now all the parts are removable if you just want the pistol, if you just want the gun with the scope on it, but you can put the scope and the new stock. The new stock is designed to where it swivels down on 2 joints, where the other one just swiveled down on 1 joint. But yeah, this one is a lot more versatile as it can swivel down and underneath to incorporate the hand and the arm holding it. So this is a more updated version of the Megatron gun, and that's awesome. He also comes with a new chest plate, which comes more in handy on the TRU version because it has cutouts, but you could basically put anything in there as long as it fits. But it is the grid, and you could put a piece of paper in here, put this over it, and it'll show his display, and it'll have the grid over it like he is displaying an image. And then also you get a transparent Energon cube, and the TRU one has a link, and I have not downloaded it yet because I've got to get some card stock. But a transparent Energon cube, and you can get the papercraft put inside there and have an Energon cube. But if you pop this off and click it onto this fake chest plate, he can look like he's making Energon cubes. Now it comes in handy in robot mode, but I want to go ahead and show it off here while we're looking at the accessories. And I'll show it what it looks like in robot mode. And you can also stick it there without the little chest adapter, but it is a little bit loose. So if you want a secure connection, you're going to want to put it on this and then tab that on there. So that's a lot tighter of a connection. And yeah, that's essentially it for his accessories, except for the obvious ones, his cassettes, but we'll look at those individually in a minute. Let's go ahead and look at his tape deck mode first, and we'll get the details out of the way, and then we'll show off the gimmick with the tapes. So he has a really nice tape deck mode. It's solid. It's really thick and big, and the back seems a little bit hollow, but it's alright because his gimmick, or his transformation works that in. He has a sliding knob here, all kinds of EQ knobs they don't do anything, they're just kind of sculpted in there, but that's alright. He does have a working headphone jack. Here are my Apple EarPods. They just tab right in right there, so you can see that. It works perfectly. But other than that, he's got the sliding knob right here. This little port works with this right here, and it plugs in right here, which I'm assuming is to recreate the scene from Transformers the movie when he transfers the data onto the screen. But anyway. And that also works in conjunction with some of the Cassette's weapons. Speaking of cassettes, you get 5 of them. They all come in their little transparent cases here. I'll go ahead and remove them just so we can have them. So there's Frenzy, or not, Laserbeak, Buzzsaw, Ravage. This is Frenzy. and then Rumble. And this is the first time that the Hasbro and Takara packaging has agreed. This red one is Rumble, blue one is Frenzy. Alright? If you don't believe me, there's going to be a link down below to the Transformers Wiki, and you can clearly see that out of all the continuations of Transformers, Rumble has been red more than half of the time. Like almost 75% of the time, Rumble has been red and Frenzy has been blue. So it was an animation error. I don't want to get into it too much, but Rumble has always is supposed to be red. As a matter of fact, in the G1 air quotes Bible, they say Rumble is the red robot. So that's my proof. There you go. But anyway, Soundwave can hold up to 3 cassettes in his tape deck mode. All you do is push this button and it clicks the tape deck out. And if you see inside there's this little plate, and you just push it back in there. You can see now it's really back far in there. And what you do is this is a problem you're going to usually have with the robot guys. The robot cassettes, Rumble and Frenzy, have a lot of trouble popping in and out of here. But I'm going to do my best. I'm trying to orient them right. So there you go. I got 3 cassettes in there. You push this button. See, it gets jammed. It's just the way they are. There. So I pull them out. Alright, then this little knob back here, if you push it down, you heard that, it clicks the next cassette up into position. So here you go. You see Laserbeak is back in there. I'm going to push this lever. It clicks him up forward. And you can pull him out. And that, he holds 3 at a time, which is pretty awesome. So, yeah, and then just to reset that, you just push that, you have to push that plunger back. And you don't have to push it all the way back. You could, if you want him to hold 2, you just click it back 1 knob. And let's see here, I put Laserbeak in here, and then I'll put Buzzsaw 2. So Buzzsaw, pull him out. There's Laserbeak. Alright, so that's Soundwave in his tape deck, and that's all of his gimmicks, basically. Now let's take a look at the cassettes themselves. You get 2 duplicates out of the 5. Obviously, Rumble and Frenzy are going to be the exact same mold because, well, they're both the robots. So we'll look at them separately, or we'll look at them together. Similarly with Laserbeak and Buzzsaw, they are the exact same mold, so we'll look at them together. But Ravage here is the only one that is unique, which is pretty cool. So we'll go ahead and look at him right now. Everything you need for Ravage is in this tape mode, and he comes with his little case. But other than that, his tape mode is really cool. As you can see, it is nice and silvery black, pretty shiny. On the back, it is pretty hollow, and you can see a lot of the Jaguar bits, but that's no big deal because this guy has a really cool transformation. What you want to do first to transform him is take this little nose bit, and I don't have fingernails, so it's kind of hard for me to do some of this stuff. And there's this little bit, and you just flip it up, and that's his snout. Then you want to bring the head halves and close them together. You can see there's his Jaguar head. Then you want to untab that from there. Untab that from there, and bring these forward. And as you can see, what I'm doing here is I'm essentially taking the cassette and putting it forward like this. Then you want to take this tail and flip it out. Take these back halves and close them together like so. Then you want to take this panel and rotate it. Take this panel and rotate it. Move his little front down. You can see I'm flipping the leg right here. Like so. Then I want to go ahead and bend him right there, and then bend his head down to give him the feline-like pose. Almost didn't get feline out there. I'm having some trouble talking. Anyway, as you can see, I'm kind of flipping the legs out. It's pretty simple. You just want to flip the legs out and take these panels, and they rotate down. And as you can see, his little blasters on his back legs, or his rocket boosters, missile pods, whatever you want to call them, are incorporated. So there you have Ravage in his Panther mode, or I don't know what you would call it, but he's a kitty. So there's that. Next up we have the Bird cassettes. As you can see, I have Laserbeak and Buzzsaw together. They are the exact same design in the cassette form, except one is yellow and one is red. So that's awesome. As you can see here, focus. One is yellow, one is red. On the back, well, if I could stop dropping them, they are the same as well, just some different paint apps. We'll go ahead and transform Laserbeak because he is the most common of the bird cassettes. So we'll go ahead and show you how he transforms. There's a little square right here. You want to kind of put your fingernail in there, and there's a little slot. And it pushes his head out just enough for you to grab it and bring it forward like that. Then what you want to do is take the feet here, flip them out. My camera is wanting to not focus tonight. And you flip the feet forward like that. There we go. Then you take, focus. Take these little bits here and flip them up and around. These make his little rocket boosters. Now these fins you want to be very careful with because they get stuck pretty easily and they're tight, and it's so easy to snap these off because they're so small. So what you want to do is take lots of care in rotating them up, because if you grab too high you put a pressure point and snap it off. So you want to always grab right here close to the base when you're transforming this. But anyway, then you take the wing and flip it out from underneath and forward. And finally, you take both wings and click them back into place like that. And there you have Laserbeak in his bird mode. So here I've transformed Buzzsaw, and you can see here that they are essentially the exact same, just minor paint differences. Same Decepticon logo locations, they're both on the wings, same shiny paint. The yellow is the only difference. Buzzsaw's beak is a bright yellow, though, which is pretty nice compared to Laserbeak's kind of dull silver beak. But as you can see, they do look the exact same, basically. So, there's that. Both of them have the big feet, and both of them have the same concerns when you're transforming these little fins back here. You want to make sure that you don't snap them off. Anyway, Laserbeak has the, and Buzzsaw as well, but this mold has the gimmick. If you take your fingernail and pop it up, you can see there, come on, focus, come on, focus. It's the shiny paint that's making it. That's the little spy camera from the Transformers. There you go, you can see it. From the Transformers movie. It pops up, and he has his little spy camera, which is pretty cool. That's a nice addition to these guys. So, there's the birds. Next up, we have the robots. We've got Rumble over here, and Frenzy right here. And, so basically their paint is the same. Frenzy is a kind of purpley blue with light blue and silver. Rumble is red with a dark blue and silver. And looks like there's supposed to be some black detailing right here, but it's pretty shy on a lot of mine. As you can see here, Rumble's got, it looked like it got on there pretty good right here. The shiny paint must be messing with the camera, that's what it is. The black got on pretty good right there, but over there it's not so good. I don't know. And Frenzy seems to have a little bit of the same. There's some black right there, but not a lot right there. But, you know, it's alright. Anyway, to transform the robot guys, this shiny paint's really getting on my nerves. Because it's messing with my camera, and I don't like it. Anyway, what you want to do is you want to untab this. Then these come down right here. And the legs are really interesting. They accordion fold out and click like that. So then you can take the foot, flip it down. They come down like this, and you can see it. Accordion folds out like that. Take the foot, flip it down, then bring the arms down and around, down and around. Take the little hands and flip them out. Take the little hands and flip them out. And you get your fingernail back here and pop the head up. Bring it all the way up. And rotate it around. And there you have Rumble. Oh yeah, and then you gotta pop the waist up like that. Give him a little bit of extra height. There you have Rumble in his robot mode. Let's get him over a little bit. Alright, now I brought Frenzy into the picture, and as you can see, their paint is pretty cool. I mean, they're pretty inverse of each other, which makes them look awesome. You know, Rumble here has got the black and red and the gold, and then the shins are kind of this light blue and gold. And Frenzy has the dark purple and the lighter blue, and then the silver, and then the yellow down there. And their feet are both silver, but they still look really cool together. And these head sculpts are just the bomb.com. They look so good. They look so awesome. So, there are the two guys right there. And each of them come with a weapons pack, is what I like to call it. And we'll go ahead and take a look at Rumble's. And it's his two pile drivers, his guns, and this thing that holds them both together. So basically, if you just wiggle it, and one of them's loose and one of them's not. But if you just pull it out like this, you're left with this piece. And that's all well and good. But it really does nothing until later, when it kind of does something. Then you take this top here, and you flip it up. Pull his little guns out from inside there. And these are, air quotes, case sensitive. They only go in one gun, as you can see, or only one pile driver is the one they go in. As you can see, it is very specific. As the gun slides in, these little grooves on top match up with that groove, and that little peg hole matches with that groove, and obviously the fin on the gun cannot point inside, so it has to be pointing outside. So you can only put one gun in one side. Anyway, these guns tab into the holes on his back. Whoops! Like so. So there you have the authentic guns for the guys. And then if you flip his hands in and have him say Y for YMCA, you can take the pile drivers and clip them on, and one of them clicks and one of them doesn't, but they still, this one goes on sturdy and this one's the one that clicks over here on this side. I thought I was going to break it the first time. There it goes, it snaps into place like that. This one doesn't do that, which is weird. Oh, there it goes. Doi. But there you have the pile drivers on Rumble. Then there's an alternate configuration for Frenzy. If you want the, you can just take the pile drivers off and have them normal with arms. Or if you want them to store the pile drivers, put them back in this little thingamadoo-bobber. And that square peg and those two round holes go in the square peg and the two round holes on his back. And there he can carry his pile drivers around. Now you're going to have to extend them down because they severely push his feet out of the way. So he really can't stand with these on, or this backpack. He really cannot stand with it on unless you do that. But then these guns, you take this little, and it flips down like that. It's so hard to see because these are so little. Flip that down, and he can hold these guns as handguns instead of them being on his back. So, and if you don't want the pile drivers on there, but you kind of want, I don't know if this bracket, like you could pretend this is a jetpack, and the pile driver's going awry, pretend it's a jetpack, I don't know, but it does tab into his back, and he can hold his little guns right there. So those are the two configurations, and oh, by the way, these pile drivers do extend, but that is as far as they go, so you're going to have to kind of bend him over if you want him to make contact with the ground. But at least the pile drivers are cool. I mean, it's pretty awesome. So, those are the two robot guys. And these two do combine together for storage. I assume it's for storage. They tab together like this and make this what looks like a conduit. And I call back to this right here, his little scanner. What it does is it actually tabs in right here and makes that. So I'm assuming this is supposed to be like a plug for a computer or batteries, or I don't know what this is, but this all links together for some reason. And I mean, I've watched G1 and I've never seen this happen. But you know, and these they tab in either way, and it goes into either one. But it is the weirdest thing, and I don't know what it's for. The only thing I could assume is that it's for storage, and that they want you to be able to link this stuff all together to keep it in one kind of chunk. But that's weird. I honestly don't know what that's supposed to be. But it does it, and so, alright. But anyway, we'll move on to the big SW himself. Let's transform him. So, what you want to do first is probably pull off... No, let's not pull that off yet. First, you want to disconnect... It's really hard to do. Okay, so you pull that panel out, and then this whole section rotates out like that, and goes behind like that. So I'll show you again on this side. His door keeps flying open. You just want to get your finger in there. It's really hard to do on camera. But you just want to kind of work your way in there and straighten. This is a really heavy ratchet joint. Straighten that out behind him like so. So it was folded up, and now it's not. Then you want to take the play thing, and it slides down. Then you can lift it up like so. Take these two panels and close them together. And then tuck it down like so. And then go ahead and pull this scanner off. And these two little bits right here, it's really interesting. They fold up and tab into place back there, so it locks his cod piece in place. Now you can wiggle and split the legs, pull them down, and straighten them out. If you saw that, you push these buttons to push them back in. So you just want to pull that one and pull that one. So then you want to go straight down like so. So now he's got his lower torso in place. Spin the legs around at the knee. See, this black line is still there. Spin the leg around at the knee. Then take this panel right here, undo it, and flip it all the way around like so. This side as well, undo it, and flip it all the way around like so. And then you take the foot and flip it down like so. And these feet are die cast, so they do stand pretty sturdily. Then you take these and you rotate this like that, rotate this like that, and then these clip down onto the side of the legs to kind of make armor. So then you just kind of position his lower body, and then you are done. Now on to the upper body. You want to take his waist here and click him forward like so. So there's that. The whole torso kind of comes forward. Come to the back here, and these arms go out to the side like so, and they tab in. And these panels flip down along his back of his shoulders. Then you can pull this gun off, and now you can see that bracket that it sits in. Take this panel right here, flip it back. Obviously his head is stored in there. Clip it up like that. Close that back. You take this, and this is connected, which is really cool, and rotate it around. You just kind of straighten it out to where it's sitting on his shoulder. The hand is tucked up in here. Close it back. And then hand out like that. And I want to call attention to this. There are actually speakers molded in on the inside of his arms. So I guess all of his sound comes from inside of his arms. That's weird. Anyway, there's the upper body, and now you have Soundwave, and he is done from head to toe. Awesomeness. Now you can go ahead and look at some of the weapons in the robot mode. This gun is pretty cool when it converts. You pull that back, take this little handle, and I don't have fingernails, so it's pretty hard to do. Come on now. There we go. And then what it does, when you pull that out, it kicks that little nub out, and then you just pull it, and there's his rifle. So you open his hand, and he's got the MPO1 style hands, where the three fingers are, the three fingers are right here together, and this one is on a joint, and then the finger also is on a joint. So then what you do is you take that little post right there and slide it into the hand, tap that in, close the hand around it, and now he's holding his rifle. And as you can see here, there's one of my gripes. The shoulder joint is pretty loose. I don't like it. But anyway, here you can see the full effect of him making energon cubes. So that's pretty cool. And that grid, now that I'm looking at it, it does add a neat effect to where it looks like he's making the energon cubes. And as a matter of fact, you could put a piece of paper in there to make it look like, because that doesn't, I mean, that looks okay, but the grid makes it look like he's actually creating the energy field that the cubes are in. So there, Soundwave is making energon cubes. Yeah! In this other hand, I'm going to go ahead and put the Megatron gun. Now, this is the first time I've done this since having this toy, because, you know, this is a whoa, almost knocked the camera off. This is a feature I don't exploit much, just because it's, I mean, it's pretty generic. Ah, his finger popped off. Dang it. Soundwave is missing a finger. Alright. There we go. So there you go. Soundwave's holding Megs. He's dual wielding Halo for the win. So, I'm tired, if you can't tell, but this figure's pretty awesome, so I am gladly wasting sleep to review him. Come on, Megatron, get out of Soundwave's hand. So while we are here, let's go ahead and talk his gimmick. As you can see here, obviously, they made it to where he can push his button and eject his tapes, which none of them are in tape mode right now, so there's no reason to try that. His scanner. Now the sensor does work in his robot mode. All you want to do is flip the hand back in. You can see a pair of tabs where this just tabs on, and now he's got his little sensor, and he's, you know, sensing. So there's that. And yeah, so the the cassette gimmick works in this mode just the same, as you can see. It still works. So some cool things that he can do, obviously, is I call back to Laserbeak or Buzzsaw, just depends. They've got little grooves on their feet, and there's grooves on Soundwave's shoulders. And if I can get it to work, they just kind of tab on right there, and he can hold on his shoulder. And then there's another cool one on his arm. He's got this little transparent tab. He can hold, well, he'd hold the bird like this. He can hold his birds on his shoulder or his arm. Now, due to the fact that the feet are a little bit bigger, as you can see, one of Laserbeak's feet is up actually on the torso. You cannot really put a bird on this shoulder unless one foot is hanging off, because the shoulder cannon is in the way. And so, I mean, it's pretty difficult to get him on there. But then one foot kind of has to be hanging off. So, that's a disadvantage of that side. But I want to look at Soundwave's face for a momento. And the main difference between this one and the Takara version is obviously this one has yellow eyes. And mine's got a little scratch right there on the side of his mouth plate, but it's no big deal. This one has yellow eyes, and it's a yellow piece of plastic with a silver backer behind it to give it a shiny effect. So essentially, what you could do is take a red Sharpie and just color over that. But I'm going to try to find a red visor so I don't damage the yellow visor, because I kind of like the yellow visor a little bit more in person now. It doesn't look that bad. So, Anyway, that's the way he was in the toy, too. He had a yellow visor. Woo! Caught that. My phone is just so easy to knock over. Anyway, I didn't say, but these buttons are spring-loaded, but the play and those buttons are not. So, but anyway, his posability is pretty good, actually. His head is on this up and down swivel. It's pretty loose, but side to side is pretty good. This shoulder cannon is articulated, so if you want to do like a War Machine style, it rocks back like that. His shoulders kind of swing out like this on this joint. Then he also has a rock right there at the base of the shoulder. Bicep swivel. Double jointed elbow, which was exploited earlier when I pushed his button with his own hand. The hand kind of rocks because it's on that transformation joint. As I said earlier, the 3 fingers open up, and then the pointer finger opens up, and then it's also on this little joint here too. And this is just tabbed in right here. It's on a friction joint, so you want to be careful and not lose his finger, as I did earlier. So he does have waist articulation, which is amazing. Hips are really good. A lot of people have been mistransforming his hips, and that's kind of severely damaging his hip articulation. They're putting his legs like this, and that's not the way it's supposed to go. His legs are supposed to be like this, where this line is facing forward. So he does get a full outward kick right here, and then a ratchet here at the thigh, and a full 30 ratchet or 90 degree ratchet at the knee. It's really solid. That one's really solid too, and this one kind of goes back too, but it also rotates right there. It's a ball joint system, and he also has a rotation right here at the knee, rotation up here. Foot's on a pivot, and yeah, you can get some really legit poses out of this. So how does Soundwave compare to every other Transformer tape deck guy out there? So what is my overall opinion of him? Overall, I think he's awesome. Considering you get everything from the Takara one, the whole set from Takara cost about $320. Considering you get it for $120 here in the States is amazing. The only real differences between the Takara and Hasbro versions are the eyes and some minor paint detail on the feet and the, obviously, quality control stamp on the leg. But you get so much with this guy. And it does everything so well. And overall, if you're going to have a Soundwave now, Gushfest. Soundwave is my favorite character from G1 ever, and it is amazing to finally have a masterpiece version of him and all of his cassettes. I mean, it's amazing. So, if you're looking for the perfect Soundwave to go with your collection, to, you know, be the Soundwave from G1, he's pointing at something. I don't know what he's pointing at, but he's pointing at something. He's telling me to go to bed because I'm tired. Thanks, Soundwave. Anyway, if you're looking for the perfect Soundwave, pick this guy up. He's hard to find, but once you get him, he's amazing. Now, there's some things to look out for. There's some quality control issues that I kind of mentioned before. My Soundwave has some loose joints in his arms, but it's something I can deal with. He also, the Minions, the little cassette guys, have some problems. Like the birds, specifically, those fins on the top have a lot of problems. And some paint detail on my rumble, as I showed. But overall, I think this guy is amazing, and that anybody should pick him up. Anyway, thank you for viewing this video, and goodbye.